What's up guys, it's K Cars, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to drive a manual car. If you're just a beginner wanting to learn how to drive a manual car, this video is perfect for you. I'm going to teach you all the basics that you need to know to learn how to start driving a manual car. If you're just starting out, please don't make the mistake that I made. I thought it would be a good idea to learn on a Subaru WRX STI, which is a sports car, and I couldn't drive for more than 2 feet without stalling. So if you have a sports car, it'll take you a lot longer to learn. The best kind of car to learn driving manual on would be any kind of car that isn't a sports car. I'm not going to talk much more, I'll just get straight to the point. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice when you step into a manual car is obviously it has the brake and gas, and then on the left, that's the clutch. Basically, whenever you press the clutch in, that's like putting the car in neutral. The clutch is used to start out and every time you want to switch gears. Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you want to start the car, push the clutch all the way in to make sure that it's in neutral. Also, if you can move the shifter left and right, that also means that it's in neutral. Some cars won't even let you start if the clutch isn't pushed in. So after you've made sure that it's in neutral and you have the clutch pushed in, you can go ahead and start the car. And then once again, just make sure it's in neutral before you take your foot off the clutch, or else it'll jerk forward and stall. After you have the car started, it's a good idea to get yourself familiar with the gear shifter. In this case, I'm going to be driving a 6-speed manual Jeep Wrangler. So what you want to do before you start, just go through all the gears and get yourself familiar with how they shift. So in this case, left and up, first gear, down, second. To go into third, just push it up. It should automatically go into third without you thinking about it. And then to get to fourth, just straight down. And then fifth, right and up. Then sixth, down. And then reverse is all the way to the right and down. And then make sure you always make sure that it's in neutral before you lift your foot off the clutch. And also make sure that whenever you're switching gears or just going through them like this, that you have the clutch pushed in all the way, or else the car will stall. After you've gotten yourself familiar with how the gears shift, you're ready to start moving. So to start moving, you want to push your foot on the clutch all the way in, and then put your foot on the brake. Then you want to take the emergency brake off. After that, you want to put the car in first gear, which is left and up. So this next part is the part that takes the most practice. So you're going to want to release the clutch until you feel the catch point or the bite point, which is the point in the clutch that the car starts moving or you stall. So a good way to find the catch point is slowly release your foot off the clutch until you feel the spring push your foot out more. That's where the catch point is. So this is where a lot of people mess up. They either take out the clutch way too fast or they don't give it enough gas. Something good that you can do to help is once you hit the catch point, put your heel on the floor and then just let the pedal slide on your foot the rest of the way. That'll make it a lot easier. You'll have a lot more control instead of using your whole leg. Okay, so when you figure out where the catch point is, you're going to want to slowly start moving. Just take the clutch out and the catch point is right there and I'm moving. And just keep doing this until you get familiar with where the catch point is. So a good exercise that you can do to get yourself familiar with the catch point is make sure you're in first gear. And then make sure you're on a small incline. Not anything big, just something small. Just enough so that if you take your foot off the brake, you'll roll back just a little bit like I am right now. The next thing you want to do is whenever you're rolling back, find the catch point and just keep going back and forth like I am right now. Once again, make sure your heel is on the floor. You'll feel the car start going forward, and then when you feel it about to stall, just push it in, but you don't have to push it in all the way, just a little bit like I am. So that'll look something like this on the outside. And when you're doing that exercise, make sure you're not pushing the clutch in all the way, just barely a little bit in and out of the catch point. You don't really need much movement. The So now I'll demonstrate how to use the gas once you hit the catch point. So once again, slowly release the clutch until you feel the car moving. That's the catch point. Heel on the ground, then give it a little bit of gas. And as you give it gas, release more of the clutch out. So now the clutch is all the way out, and I'm driving right here. So now whenever you want to come to a stop, push the clutch all the way in and don't release it until you have the gear shifter in neutral. Then you can release the clutch. The most important thing that I think you can do is just learning how to start. Just make sure you're in a big open parking lot and just practice starting. Just like that. So practice starting and stopping. So stopping, clutch in, make sure it's in neutral, and then you can stop. Starting out, make sure it's in first gear. Release your foot off the clutch until you find the catch point. Then slowly give it gas as you release the clutch. The reason that you want to be so familiar with where the catch point is that when you're in traffic, you don't want to just slowly bring out the clutch until you find the catch point, because that'll get annoying. So what you want to do is just release the clutch fast until you hit the catch point, and then slow down so you don't stall, and then give it gas. So that'll look something like this. So that's all you have to do to start out, really. So once again, foot all the way on the clutch, first gear, take your foot out until you hit the catch point, give it some gas so you don't stall, and then you just gotta feather it out so you don't stall. Feather out the clutch and gas, make sure you're giving it the exact amount that it needs so it won't stall. And just keep doing that a few times until you get comfortable with it. Starting and stopping. So now to stop, clutch all the way in, neutral. If you can go left and right with the shifter, that's neutral. Then you can take your foot off the clutch. So once again, clutch all the way in, shift into first gear, then take your foot off the clutch until you hit the catch point, then slow down and give it gas. Just barely any, just to start out. You really need to learn how to feather out the clutch and the gas so the RPMs won't go too high or you won't stall. And then once again to stop, clutch all the way in, neutral, and then clutch out. So once again to start out, clutch all the way in, first gear, and I'll show you guys what my feet are doing. And then stop. And once again, neutral is when the shifter can go left and right and it just feels like it's loose. If I'm in first gear, I can't do that, but if I'm in neutral, I can do it. So now once you guys are comfortable starting and stopping, you're ready to learn how to shift. So to shift, all you do is take your foot off the gas as you press the clutch in, shift into second gear, and then same thing as you were starting, just feather out the clutch and the gas. So you take out the clutch until you hit the catch point, and then just give it gas and slowly release the clutch as you give it more gas. You really just need to get a feel for how your clutch works, because every clutch is different and it's not going to be the same. Just like I said earlier, a good way to get familiar with the catch point is to do that exercise that I showed you guys. Just go back and forth with the catch point, no gas, just heel on the floor. So now we're ready to shift into second gear. So start out in first, get moving. So now you're ready to shift into second gear, clutch in, shift, find the catch point, give it some gas, feather if it needs to, and then clutch all the way out, and then you're going. So it's really that simple, guys. There's really not that much to it. It'll take a lot of practice, but with enough practice, it'll come naturally. So when you're ready to shift into higher gears, just use the same method that I told you guys about. Clutch in, shift into the gear, and then take the clutch out until you can reach the bite point, and then slow down, give it a little bit of gas so you don't stall, and then take the clutch out all the way. Just make sure you do all of that slowly when you're in the bite point, or else it will jerk or stall. And also to feather, you want to feather when you're in the bite point, not before, not after. If you do it before, the car will just rev up and you won't go anywhere, and if you do it after, it'll be too late because the car will stall. Alright, so just a recap of the whole video. To start out, push the clutch all the way in, put it in first gear, and then release the clutch until you hit the bite point, and then feather it with the gas so you don't stall. And then you're going to want to slowly release the clutch so you don't stall again. As you're releasing the clutch, you want to give it more gas, and then release the clutch all the way, but not too fast, or else you're going to stall. And then to shift gears, same thing. You want to push the clutch in as you're taking your foot off the gas, shift into the gear, and then release the clutch until you hit the bite point, then give it gas, feather it with the gas, and then slowly release the clutch the rest of the way as you're giving it more gas. So there's really nothing else to it, that's all there is. It'll take a lot of practice at first, but just make sure that you go to a big open parking lot and then practice starting and stopping from first gear. That's the most important thing. If you can do that, then you can drive in any gear. Automatics just seem really boring to me, and manual cars are a lot more fun because you have a lot more control and you can do a lot more with manual. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and like, and leave a comment if you have any questions and I'll answer it. Also, check out my Instagram page at kcars_. I post pictures of cars there and updates about my channel. So thanks for watching.